we're doing some Sutton comparisons. I own 3 of the 4 sizes that the Sutton comes in by Wallace. I own the micro, small, and medium Suttons. I don't own a large, so we will compare the 3 sizes that I do own against one another. I also own the original Sutton as well as a few Deluxe Suttons, so we'll do some comparisons between those 2 different versions as well. The small Sutton that you'll see in today's video is a Valentine's Day edition from a couple of years ago, so I figured with Valentine's Day coming up, that was a great one to pull out and show off. Let's jump into the comparisons. In order from left to right, we have the Micro Sutton in Dawn, Small Sutton in Sweetheart, which was a Valentine's Day exclusive print in 2019. Then we have the Small Deluxe Sutton in Caramel, and we have the Medium Sutton in Horizon Ombre. First up, let's compare the Micro Sutton in Dawn and the original version of the Small Sutton in the Sweetheart print. If you look at them one in front of the other, you can see a good size difference between them. I find that the Micro Sutton is still able to go over my arm, so I can carry it like so without the crossbody strap if I would like to. It doesn't comfortably go much past my elbow. It can, but I don't think that's realistic for everyone, and it is not comfortable there, so I wouldn't put it much past my elbow if I was going to carry it like this. I also really just love to carry it by the handles like this when I'm out and about. I don't typically wear this one crossbody, but that's just my personal interest. The Small Sutton, if you guys don't already know, is my absolute favorite size and style bag by Wallace. I adore the Small Sutton. I own a healthy variety of them. I have a few other color comparisons of my Small Suttons on my YouTube channel if you want to check those out. So the Small Sutton is one that I do sometimes carry on the crook of my arm like this. It is quite comfortable. I have a little bit of extra room, which just makes me feel more inclined to carry it this way. I do also carry this Small Sutton frequently with the crossbody strap, and I find that the Small Sutton is much more conducive to fitting all of my needs in them. So the Micro Sutton is one that, like I mentioned, I really prefer to just carry on a quick outing, just a date night. I can fit my wallet, keys if I need to, a couple of other small things in there. With the Small Sutton, I feel like this is a really great size for an everyday bag. I'm able to fit all of the things I can fit in a Small Sutton, as well as some of the extra things that I need to carry with me long term, like chargers and just things I wouldn't need if I'm just out on a quick date night. Here's a comparison of how they look and feel when they're both on my arm. Just definitely a good bit more space between the top of the handles here and where the Sutton actually starts on the Small Sutton. Still some space with the Micro Sutton, but not as much. We've seen the 2 Suttons, one in front of the other. Let's look at them, comparing them on their sides. Here's how the bottoms differ. I feel like when you see the bottom, it's a really good view of just what you can fit in the bag. This is your base. This is where everything builds up from. So knowing what you have for a footprint on the bottom of your bag can be very helpful. I had intentionally filled each of these bags with some of my son's clothing, actually, some of his clean laundry that I hadn't put away, in order to give them the full effect. But I've gone ahead and emptied out the Sweetheart Sutton, and I want to show you that the Micro Sutton can fit pretty comfortably completely inside the Small Sutton, and there's still a good bit of extra room on the top. So that Micro Sutton fits in there with room to spare. You would still be able to add additional goodies inside. So that gives you a really good idea of just how much bigger the Small Sutton is than the Micro Sutton. Let's chat differences between the original Sutton and the Sutton Deluxe. There's only one difference, and that is that the original Sutton does not have any pockets on the front or the back of the bag, and the Sutton Deluxe has this very nice slip pocket on the front of the bag. You can see my hand going way down, all the way down to here, so right down to this seam where the base of the bag is on the front, and then also the same size, very nice deep slip pocket that goes all the way down to the seam again on the back. I have got to say this feature was a very smart one to start implementing in the Suttons. I love this pocket to be able to slip things quickly in there. My phone fits wonderfully in these pockets. Just went and grabbed it so you could see. I have the iPhone 12, not Pro version, and that fits down in there really well. My phone has gone down to here and it comes all the way up to just about where the logo is. So it fits really well down in there, if you can see. And it's wonderful to be able to just slip it quickly into that slip pocket. There's no resistance. It fits very comfortably. And it's also a great pocket to be able to slip keys into, or receipts as you're checking out at a store, things of that nature that you just want to drop quickly into a location. Other than those two slip pockets, the one on the front and the one on the back, there are no other differences between the original Sutton and the Sutton Deluxe. And while I said I do love this slip pocket, and I do, it isn't a deal breaker for me to not have that pocket. I am also okay with just unzipping my Sutton and putting my phone and other items inside. And I think that the really big driving factor for me there is that there are so many amazing prints and colorways that only come in the original Sutton. If every single color and print came in the deluxe version, and I had the option to purchase either original or deluxe, I'd go with deluxe because I do love having those two slip pockets. But since there are so many, as I mentioned, wonderful colors and prints that only come in the original Sutton, I'm happy to own many original Suttons. I actually own significantly more original Suttons than the deluxe version. As the deluxe versions come out, and I love the colorways and prints and things, I purchase them in the deluxe, but that doesn't deter me from hanging on to all of my original ones. And they only produce the deluxe versions now. The original version is no longer made in any of the new prints or colors. Next up, let's chat about the small Sutton and the medium Sutton. The medium Sutton that I have is in the deluxe version. It does have the slip pocket here, and it is even bigger than it is on the small Sutton. I can stretch my fingers all the way across like this. It does again go right down to that seam, and it is just from shoulder strap to shoulder strap, so it's even wider than it was on the small Sutton. You can see the difference there between the shoulder straps, and so those pockets go right from the start of this strap to the start of that strap on both of them. Now let's compare the size difference between the small and the medium. Just as there is a good size difference between the micro and the small, there is a good size difference between the medium and the small. I did a little adjusting so you could really see both of them in the frame completely. I feel like the size difference between the small and the medium doesn't feel as intense as the size difference between the micro and the small. The medium definitely packs a good bit more. When you're comparing the bottoms of the bags, you can see that their widths are similar, but their lengths are different, and that is where you are getting the additional space within the medium Sutton, as well as with their heights. So the height of the medium Sutton is greater than the height of the small Sutton. The straps are also significantly larger on the medium Sutton, so a good bit more space here. This one is actually comfortable to put all the way up on my shoulder and wear that way, whereas that is not something I would intentionally do with the small Sutton. So if you are somebody who likes to just be able to pull your straps right up over your shoulder, the medium Sutton may be a great fit for you. If you are somebody who prefers to use the crossbody strap, then either of these bags would be a great fit. I've gone ahead and emptied out the medium Sutton, and I'm going to put the small Sutton inside the medium one, just like I did with the micro into the small, so you can see that comparison. So the small definitely fits down inside of the medium comfortably. I could tuck the straps in and zip this with ease without being worried about cinching my small Sutton at all. So that is a fully packed small Sutton inside of a medium Sutton, and the clips are even still clipped down. If you unclip these, you end up with some additional space here in the corners of the bag, but that is not necessary to do in order to fit the small Sutton in there. So definitely a good bit larger than the small Sutton. If we dive into the insides of the bags, there are some differences there as well. Give you a look of the micro, small, and medium strap lengths all on my arm. In doing this comparison, I actually just learned something new myself. So both the medium and the small Sutton, those interior zip pockets are the exact same length. Look at that. The micro Sutton's zippered pocket is definitely shorter than the others, but that is really neat to me that the medium and the small have the exact same length. I did not know that until right now. These beauties might be looking a little bit strange to you in this portion of the video, but I've gone ahead and flipped each of them inside out so that we can really compare the interior pockets. So here we have the small and the medium, and something that I'm just now learning, right along with some of you, I'm sure, is that this interior zipper pocket on the medium and the small Sutton are the same length. That's crazy. I had always had it in my head that because the medium is a larger Sutton, that the interior pockets on the medium must be bigger as well. Not the case. Tossing the micro into the mix, you can tell that that zippered pocket is definitely not as long as the medium and the small. In addition to the zippered pockets on the medium and the small being the same length, these two interior pockets that we have on the small and medium are the same lengths as well. That is not the case for the micro. The micro has just that one pocket, and it is, again, not as long as the small and the medium. I will also point out that on both the small and the medium, you get this little, I think I've heard people refer to it as a metro pocket. It fits a card perfectly anyway. So the medium has it, the small has it, both the non-deluxe and the deluxe versions. The micro does not have that pocket. The interior zip pockets of these bags are very similar. They do vary in size between the micro and the small and the medium we just learned are the same size. But on the inside of the micro Sutton, we have two little slip pockets here. They're pretty tiny, but they're there. This is the width of one of them, and the other one's over here. The small also has two pockets as well, but they are significantly larger. So here's the width of one, and there's the second one, and then the medium has the exact same size as the small because, as we just compared, these interior pockets are the same size. And on the small and the medium, you will get a key leash for both, and that key leash is typically done with the exterior print. So that's a neat little feature. The micro Sutton does not come with a key leash of any kind. And on all of MZ Wallace's bags, you are always going to get this beautiful MZ Wallace logo in gold, stamped on their signature Italian leather with the red trimming and the yellow stitching. That is on every single one of their Suttons, and I believe all of their other bags as well. And the last feature I'm going to point out to you is on the bottom of the bag. You do get 4 feet to try to help keep the bottom of the bag off of any surface you might put it on, as well as the larger MZ Wallace logo in the middle. That is on the small Sutton, the medium Sutton, and even the micro Sutton. One of the last things I think you could possibly want to know about the Sutton is about these buckles on the side. You can undo them, and there is a crossbody strap that comes with each of these Suttons, and you can attach these hooks to that crossbody strap so that you could wear the bag crossbody instead. I really love the way that the corners fold down when the snaps are being used. And so that is typically how I choose to keep my Suttons. I'm also very particular, and I like to keep this longer part of this lobster claw tucked in toward the bag when I snap this, because in my mind it protects it a little bit more and also means it's not going to jab into me. Is anyone else who is a Sutton lover or user particular about how their snaps are done like I am? Let me know if you are. So, crossbody straps didn't come out for this video, but they are something that comes with every Sutton and are very handy if that is the way that you would like to carry your bag. Thank you so much for joining me in today's video as we explored the various sizes of the Sutton and the difference between the Sutton Deluxe and the original Sutton. I hope by now you feel like you are confident and know all there is to know about the Sutton. If you have any other questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments and I'd be happy to help answer them. Thank you again for joining me today. I can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye.